are here to change the world, to help up-level the world, to make this world a better place. But I have discovered in all my work, and I've been working with people for a long time, the folks who care about their image, they tend to be very image conscious. They don't do very much in their life. Most of them are depressed, isolated, very superficial, and are really not enjoying life to the fullest. So the question is that you should be asking is, why don't image conscious people who are just so into how they present, into their image, into fitting in, into being a part of the crowd, and a part of the masses, why do they not change the world? Why do they live insignificant lives? And the reason for that is because the masses actually are incapable of changing anything. That's right. The masses are incapable of changing anything. Contrary to popular opinion, most of us have been taught that in order to change, to change the world and to create some massive effect in the world, that you need the masses to do that. And that is absolutely false. As a matter of fact, the masses cannot do that. As a matter of fact, only individuals, people like you, watching this video, only you can change the world, not the masses. And in today's video, we're going to talk about specifically 2 reasons why only individuals can change the world, not the masses. Welcome back to this channel. So glad you're here. My name is Jamal Javanji, in case you're new here. I'm a life coach by profession. I'm the author of the Amazon best-selling book called Living for a Living. I'm the founder and CEO of a life coaching company and consulting company called Free to Love Coaching Solutions, LLC. And I'm really excited to talk to you today about this really beautiful truth that only individuals can change the world. Let me tell you where this came up for me. And I was recently doing, one of the things that I do in my work as a coach is sometimes I'll work with teams, I'll work with companies, I'll work with staffs. And so I was recently doing a staff training, and part of the staff training, we always include, a Q&A time where we can have dialogue. So when people start getting this, one of the questions I get asked often is this: well, that's great, and I can learn how to be really, honestly, stress-free. I can learn how to be the most powerful version of myself. But what does it matter if everybody around me is in chaos? What does it matter if my team and my job is just absolutely filled with drama? My supervisors and my bosses are not supportive. My family life is chaotic. My kids are out of control, whatever it may be, right? I get this question a lot. And they're like, how can I really live well or change my life when everything around me is so chaotic, right? Yeah, I'm constantly asked that question. And the reason people ask that question is because there's an assumption. It's an unconscious assumption. Most people actually think that change happens when the majority of people around us get it, right? They end up getting it. If my people around me start to be more cooperative, if they start to, whatever it may be, right? If they start to really just believe and think and act the way I want them to act and do what I want them to do, then my life would be so much easier, right? That's what people think. Or maybe you're interested in changing the world, changing the country, changing the way things happen in this world. Well, a lot of times we have been told that unless the masses catch on to something, you won't be able to change anything. Unless the masses change their mind, unless the masses get something. I mean, even think about social media influencers, right? We think that, unless something goes viral, you get a bunch of views, you get a bunch of likes, that it really doesn't affect anything. But actually the opposite is true. My experience has showed me that most of the things that go viral, most of the things that get mass approval, do nothing. Very ineffective. Why is that? Well, there's 2 reasons. Number 1, the masses largely, and people who get lumped into the masses, this is why people who are image conscious almost never live a meaningful, significant life. And the reason for that is because the masses are really governed by fear. And fear is a very low vibrational energy. Fear really is ineffective at making significant change. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. But the masses are fear driven. And even people, like I want you to think back to middle school. Like when you were in school, middle school, high school, what did you want? Yeah, you wanted to fit in, right? So much of the social circles, right, is about fitting in. And when you want to fit in, it matters what people think of you. It matters what people say about you. It matters that people approve of you, right? When you're in middle school, when you're in high school. But why? Yeah, you already know. Because you're afraid. You're afraid that if people don't like you, approve of you, see you in a certain way, see you as pretty, see you as handsome, see you as athletic, whatever it may be, you're afraid that if people don't see you that way, you won't belong. And if you don't belong, you'll be alone. And where would you be? It's okay. It's totally fine. It's part of the human experience. But that's fear. We're afraid. So what we do is we become hyper. How we compensate and try to mitigate that fear is that we try to control what other people think about us, how they view us. So we conform. We may conform. If certain things are popular, we may, just because we want to belong, we may conform to those patterns. We may act like the people that we hang out with. We may want to do the things that people in our social circles deem as being acceptable or cool or whatever it may be. This is middle school consciousness. Middle school consciousness is just fine if you're in middle school. But if you're not in middle school, if you're not in high school, middle school, isn't it time to graduate from that? That kind of thinking of just being image driven, image conscious, just preoccupied to how you look, how you sound, who likes you, what so-and-so thinks about you. Isn't it time to graduate beyond middle school or high school, right? But folks who are image conscious and that's what the masses care about. The masses care about what the masses want so that you can be a part of the masses, right? Individuals want to join the masses. And fear is incapable. People who operate in fear, you're not going to be able to actually change the world. All you can do is react. And that's my second point, right? First point is people who are image conscious and the masses, the reason the masses can't change the world is because the masses are driven by fear, right? Fear of not belonging, maybe fear of survival, fear of not surviving. Yeah, you just notice it. Anytime there's a crisis in the world, what do the masses do? It's usually not the correct way to be. As a matter of fact, the masses have never been correct. If you look back on history, if you're a history buff, it was never the masses that changed injustice in the world. I want you to know that. It was never the masses. As a matter of fact, the masses were doing the opposite. The masses supported slavery. The masses went along with the Holocaust. It's always the masses. And there were a few people that challenged that, and they were deemed as the problem. The masses are almost never on the cutting edge of change, of changing the world for the better. Almost never. Actually, never. Now, if you can think of a time where the masses actually led a positive evolution for change in the world, just please let me know, because I have not found one yet. But if you know of one, put it in the comment section, right? And by the way, if you're watching this video, I would really appreciate it if you would, all you have to do is just take some moment, like this video right now in this moment, just hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, really helps this video get out to the masses. But it's never the masses, right, that change the world. So the reason for that is because they're fear driven. Second reason the masses are incapable of changing the world is because the masses are only able to react. They cannot respond. I'm going to say that one more time because that's really easy to miss. The masses are very reactive because they're fear driven. They can only react. But It's only individuals that can respond. And there's a world of difference. And I probably will at some point do an entire video on the difference between reaction and responding. But the masses just react. Only individual people can respond. Now, why is that important? It's important because reactions, what you react to, you perpetuate. The reason for that is because reactions are resistive in nature. And we say this in the coaching world a lot. What you resist persists. Have you noticed that in your own life? The thing you are opposed to, that you're fighting against, tends to just keep happening over and over and over. What we resist persists. And when you react to something, you're resisting something. So what you resist, you perpetuate. It's like a record. When you play a record, all you're going to hear is whatever song is on that record. So reactions perpetuate. But when you respond to something, it's very different than reacting. A response comes from a conscious place, a powerful place within you. It's inside of you. It's not a reaction, it's a response. So in order to respond, you actually have to operate from a place of non-resistance. That means you actually have to break away from mass consciousness. People who are caught up in mass consciousness are just reacting, and it's all fear-based. But when you learn how to connect to your truth, your core essence of your being, that's actually where responses come from. And responses come from power, not resistance. Now, I'll give you an example of this. I'm going to give you just a really, really key example of this. I want you to think about the civil rights movement. It's a powerful example of how change happens. So the civil rights movement, let's go back to 1950s, 1960s, America, Deep South. There were a lot of laws that had been in place since post-Civil War, Reconstruction era, 1860s, 1870s. In the South, there was a lot of codes and laws, regarding racial segregation and how the races, black folks and white folks would interact with each other in the Deep South. Okay, and a lot of that was just rooted in pure racism, rooted in just in an unjust way of viewing the world and viewing human beings. And it was very hurtful. And people had recognized that for a long time. For example, in the Deep South, black folks and white folks couldn't eat at the same restaurant together, couldn't use the same drinking fountains, couldn't use the same restrooms because of these inherent perceptions, racial perceptions that were very hurtful. And folks would challenge that. Folks would all the time protest that and challenge the laws and try to and fight and protest. And almost none of it was effective in changing anything. And there was a lady by the name of Rosa Parks. And Rosa Parks, I'm sure you've heard of her. If not, look her up. Rosa Parks, a powerful individual. But for a long time, she was frustrated, just like a lot of people was, with these, they call them the black codes, right? That was the name of the laws. And they were just, black people, if they were on a bus, city transportation, if they were seated in a seat that a white person wanted, it was literally the law that black people had to stand up and give their seat to a white person, and the black folks would have to move to the back of the bus, right? That was law. And many folks protested that and tried to resist that, and it never changed anything. And Rosa Parks was also a part of that. She didn't like those laws, and she petitioned and tried to change the laws and tried to protest at city council, and it didn't go anywhere. But what people don't realize about Rosa Parks, and this is a beautiful truth, Rosa Parks studied yoga. She became a yogi. A yogi is just somebody who practiced yoga. Now, when I say yoga, I'm not just talking about what we typically see in the West as being, like an exercise program, stretches and poses often called asanas. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the deeper energetic understanding of yoga. The word yoga means union. Union, this is the symbol. The union of the masculine and feminine essence energies that we all have in our system. When these come together in unison, we become a balanced person. We become a person of ease and non-resistance internally. Yeah, Rosa Parks learned how to become non-resistive in her life. And one of the things she learned is that when you stop resisting life the way it is, you become responsive. You actually get your power back. And when you get your power back, there's a lot of things you can do with that power. You can respond as opposed to react. And that's what she decided to do. You know the story, right? She's on the bus one day, just like many other days. And a person got on the bus. He happened to be Caucasian. He wanted her seat, as was the custom. But that day, something was different. Rosa Parks was resolved not to resist anything, but to respond to that situation from her power in a state of non-resistance. She decided that she was going to remain seated on that bus, and she was not going to give up her seat to the Caucasian man who wanted it. And the bus driver, I guess there was a complaint. The bus driver stopped the bus, approached the seat and told Rosa Parks that she was required by law to stand up and to move to the back of the bus and give this man her seat. And she said, I know, and I understand that law, but this is my response. I'm going to stay seated. That's my response. And he said, well, we're going to have to call the police and have you thrown off the bus and arrested. And she said, okay, I accept that. I don't resist that. I don't resist the consequences. I choose that. And I'm choosing it now from the place of power. So you know the story. They arrested her, threw her in jail, and she accepted that. But there was something powerful about her response, and it got on the news. It caught the attention of other people. And there was a young preacher based out of, I believe, Atlanta area that heard about her story. His name was, you probably heard of this man. His name was Martin Luther King Jr. Nobody had ever heard of him. He was very outside of his circles, right? He was not a well-known figure, but something about Rosa Parks' case and the story of what she did gripped him. And he was asked to come and help advocate for her. And so he did. And you know the story. It blew up. This entire thing birthed the modern civil rights movement as we know it. Literally, Rosa Parks, one person, choosing to respond from a place of non-resistance, from a place of peace and clarity. Her response set a chain of reaction events that ended up happening. We ended up hearing about Martin Luther King Jr., who then came to her defense, which then put him on the map. Martin Luther King Jr. was also a student of a yogi named Mahatma Gandhi out of India. And Mahatma Gandhi was as steeped in yoga and the understanding that the most powerful forces of nature on the planet are non-resistive. And if you want to change the world and change your country and change your society, you must come from a place of response, not reaction, from a place of peace, not violence. So Mahatma Gandhi, actually, at the height of the power of the British Empire, Mahatma Gandhi helped India become independent of the British Empire without one shot being fired against the British. No war. He changed a nation. He got India to become independent from Great Britain without a war, simply because he understood the power of response. Martin Luther King Jr. studied under him, and he understood this concept. And so when he heard about Rosa Parks responding, he came to her aid. And the entire civil rights movement, based and birthed in non-violence, non-resistive action, was birthed. And it changed the whole country. And it was just a few people. As a matter of fact, it was individuals who did it, not the masses. The masses were opposed. The masses get it later. Only individuals can change the world. Because only individuals can break out of fear, and only individuals can find their power so that they can respond as opposed to react. Does this make sense? This is why you and I have got to graduate from middle school and high school thinking and move beyond the masses. We have to start to understand that there's something higher than fear and reaction. And when we do, we will change the world. Not because the masses will get it, not because things will go viral, but because a person who steps into their power and responds from their power as opposed to reacts can't help but change the world. I think that could be you. I think that could be you. As a matter of fact, if you're watching this video, if you stayed to the end to watch this video, that is you. One of the things I do in my work as a life coach, I have a program. It's a 90-day program. It's called the Energy Acquisition System. One of the things that we help people do is to find out who you are. Not the character of who you are, but the truth of who you are. And we help you tap into your power to move beyond states of fear so you can tap into your inherent power. And one of the ways we do this is through, really this is one of the pillars of, it's a 4-pillar program, but one of the pillars is regulating your nervous system so that you can move beyond fear. So that you can learn to move beyond anxiety, burnout, stress, and you can start to find that inner sanctuary of rest so you can find that power that you have and that you can discover your passion so that you can create the life you're here to create. A life of impact, a life of abundance, a life of meaning, a life of joy, a life of peace. If that's something you want, below this video in the show notes is a link. Let me encourage you to go to that link and visit my website. You can hear some more testimonials from folks who have worked with me in the past. You can also schedule your free consultation call in that link, okay? And I'd love to hear in the comment section, please do put in the comment section, what is your takeaway from this video? Are you somebody that's here to break free from the reactionary, fear-based impulses of the masses? If that's you, tell us in the comment section. Maybe you've experienced this in your own life. Love to hear about it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, really helps. It's free. If you've been getting value from these videos, that's something you can do in each video is just hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And please do put in the comment section what your takeaway is from this video, okay? Really glad you're here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.